Was good, man. I was reading an article in psychocybernetics, and I came with a beautiful insight, a really intellectual insight that probably break a big limited belief that was a a barrier for me in reaching mind blowing revenues from the purpose that I'm gonna serve by helping others in a specific problem. And the thing is that whilst I was thinking, like subconsciously visualization myself as working with people and helping them quit their pornography addiction, especially like specifically on the part where we are on breaking limited beliefs. And to be honest with you, I felt what? I felt so my chest got tightened. And not because I what like I what's called the word, it was because I don't believe in myself, or I don't believe in myself, or I have doubts on myself that I cannot work with them. Because if I could quit porn after being addicted from a long period, it means that whoever in this earth, I can help him as well to quit porn and most importantly have a fulfilling life. But the idea that tightened my chest was when I recalled when I was talking with my auntie that she is kind of in a bad place in life. She's over 40, fat, eating processed food, with a weak mind that makes her eat processed food, wasting time not developing herself to fix her own problems like trauma that is initially making her cope with distractions like eating and digital distraction ones. And most importantly, she cannot have babies, nor her husband, because he is fat as well. Because from they fly to a particular country, they kinda gave to their pleasures and just all the time eating junk food and processed food. And I was talking to her one on one call, just like I was practicing one on one coaching, although it wasn't relatable to any porn addiction or an addiction. But I had a broader understanding of the field of psychology and trauma comparing to my fellows for my family and my tribe. And in the middle of talking to her and convincing her and telling her what exactly to do, and most importantly, not only even that, but also telling her why she's doing the thing and what she knows, subconsciously, she knows that the reason why she's doing the thing is the reason that I assumed that she was doing it. Yet she kind of didn't show any effective signs or signs of improvements because that was a year ago. And from that time, I had the idea that probably I should learn how to talk with people and to coach them. Maybe she doesn't understand where I'm trying to, the way that I'm articulating my thoughts isn't the ideal one. And she didn't approve since then. And the thing was, I was harsh on myself because I was never time she didn't change on something like that. I was all the time putting the blame on myself. Ah, I couldn't help her. You couldn't help her, Adonis. What is another way to help her so she can do improvements in her life? You didn't make no improvements in her life, which means that you are weak. You don't know how to deal with difficult situations. How you could help your clients as well to break free from those limited beliefs and most importantly regain control over their lives. But when I was reading this article on the internet, like to be honest with you, just right after I had the insight, I was so enthusiastic so excited that just I fucking pulled my phone and just recorded that video that I'm recording right now. And I realized that a quote that I read in social media that is saying you can change 10 people with one fact, but you cannot change. No, the saying says that you can change 10 people with one fact, but you cannot change an idiot with 10 facts. And it clicked on my mind. And I'll forget what I was talking about in the where I was reading that article, but just like I know what I'm talking about. And yeah, like not being offensive, but maybe my auntie is dumb. Yeah, she's dumb. Regardless of her past experiences and traumas. But as function is regarded, you can change whatever situation you are in. Regardless of where you start, you can all the time change. And my argument is because God have given you the subconscious, which is a goal striving mechanism to conquer goals. And it is designed to only follow what you are telling him to achieve by mental images and visualization techniques. Psycho-cybernetics is one of my favorite books that I read recently and just transformed my life. And I recommend you as well, if you're reading books, to read that as well. Not if you read books, let me reframe this, if you want to change your life. And the thing is, me and her, we have both problems. She has problems of her trauma and this stuff. Probably there is a big dominator, which is her age, which the age, because she's older than me with 20 years, I guess. That makes her feel that she's smarter than me, and there's no way that I can help her. Although she was only living, but I was experimenting and learning. So she lived 40 or 50 years just living, but I lived 20 years learning, or at least 5 years learning and improving, which although it is a big lifetime to live, but it is compromised into 5 years, which means that I'm more experienced and I'm more advanced, not only towards her, but also to many people. If you feel offended of my saying, that means that you just a fucking son of a bitch. You don't improve yourself. That explains why you feel offended. I just pinpoint why. And as I said, I was feeling harsh on myself. Like I was blaming myself all the time why I cannot change her and this stuff. Although I really know what I was talking about, so it wasn't just I watched a podcast or a someone who talks about mental health and I try her and I telling her to go meditate and go stuff. But really was my limited beliefs. Really, I was it wasn't my fault. But when I was young, didn't have a authority figure, a masculine figure who would give me that capital of confidence that when I'm gonna be 13 or 14, I'm gonna start cultivating on it because I had good experiences with people. That is because of my authority figure who gave me that confidence from the first place. But I didn't know that scale until now, which means that my self esteem rised up. You can call it arrogant, egotistical, whatever. I don't give a fuck. Because you're saying that. You're probably in a lower place than me. And the thing is, back then when I was 20 last year, I was doing calls with her. Like, it wasn't intentionally calls, it was just like, hi, auntie, hi, son, how are you? Da 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 da, like just checking on each other, talking, And whenever time I tried to tell her an advice or this stuff, I wasn't only afraid of my predictions of what she gonna respond with. You don't know what I'm going through. Like, hey, the reason why you're using too much distractions is because you didn't learn about your emotions and you don't process emotions and you all the time distract yourself. Yes, you don't know what I'm going through, this and this and that, and I went through that in the back and this and that, but I had I knew why she was saying that. She was saying that because of coping mechanism to not to victimize herself, and two, this has no correlation with what she's going through now. It's like you're saying to me, I was bad back then. I was good at math, and that explains why I got raped today. It has no fucking correlation or fucking link between it. But yeah, I didn't have the pair of balls, not because of out of respect and I want to let her be in comfort, but because from I was young, I remember from my early childhood, whenever in time I was a curious kid. I wasn't unintelligent. I wasn't dumb. I was intelligent, but my intelligence wasn't in the school. And vividly, I remember was that whenever time I'm gonna go to my friends. So we were like 5, 6, 7 years old. Not only school friends, but friends like in general, like my family, my environment, my friends, my schoolmates, my people who bullied me and this stuff. Whenever time I would came with a new insight that I learned, what they go into response is not, oh, we didn't knew that. Oh, this is the first time I hear that. Although if it was the first time they hear this shit that I said, which is mind blowing by regard of our age, they're going to say, we already know that, bro. Come on. Come up with something. You're so old. You're so fucking. You just knew that? Come on, man. Like, it wasn't something that is mind blowing. It was just like, hey, guys, I found this new channel on TV show that's hosting a beautiful cartoon that's so fucking excited. This anime. Yeah, we already know that. And after they go home, they're gonna fucking desirably gonna search and locate for where there is that fucking anime. But most unfortunately, they won't ask me in the next day and tell me, "Hey, yes, sir, can you please recall for me, please? Where do you find this?" They won't because they were insecure. And although I didn't have a authority figure, I was insecure as well because of their response. That is not was because out of superiority, but was because out of inferiority. So we were two victims. I was victimizing them, I was hurting them, and they were hurting me too. But the thing, we were only kids, and we didn't know what we were to do, what we were doing, especially them. They were doing a bad reaction, negative reaction to me, not only to me, but also for them. Instead of just addressing the symptom, they need to fix the drastic problem, which is that they don't know, and they need to search like me. And then on the other hand, me, the little victimized guy, is whenever time I was shining, letting my light shine, I was all the time getting by the environment suppressed. Whenever time I have a new insight, they suppress me. Whenever time I learn something about myself, they suppress me. Even if they knew, that what I said is really important and really valuable, they would just suppress it. You already know that, bro. Come on, you're so dumb. Yeah, that doesn't add no value to your fucking math score. And through those experiences, I cultivated a negative self image, which really, really affected me for a long period. And I'm limitlessly grateful for going through the self improvement path. And I'm grateful for Hamza Ahmed because I cannot list how much things I'm grateful for. Not the content, but also the quality, the depth of how those things correlate with my bad things experiences, and how those bad experiences were good things, were a lesson, were a mentorships until I found Hamza this so they can go away from me. I cannot list them for you all. But most unfortunately, how wrong I was about myself. And most importantly is how coaching idiots doesn't determinize me when I'm coaching people who want to be led by me. Because there are two kinds of people. There's the people who don't know, and when you're gonna teach them, they're gonna say, hey, you know what? This guy probably have more experience than me, and I should really listen to his advices. And there's the other kind of person who says, hey, Although I don't know this thing that he says, but it's kind of arrogant that he's telling me that. Although he wants to help me, but I don't feel safe. I don't feel comfortable when he tells me something that I don't know. So I will just ignore him, and I'm gonna fucking make him feel bad about himself by telling him that you're egotistical and arrogant, so I can feel good. And just because you having a negative response doesn't mean that you are in the right environment. And just because you are in the right environment, just because you are right in the positive reactions, doesn't mean that you are in the positive environment. I don't know if that makes sense, but just because you went maybe yesterday to the party and you were sociable and you were drinking, doing drugs and kissing a girl. Yeah, I kissed that girl. But where? At the party. Does it count as a positive thing or a negative thing? Like, sure, particularly, like, partially, kissing a girl is good because you gain experience, but to where the environments, you cannot take her in a long-term serious relationship because whenever time you're gonna have an argument with her, she gonna fucking not process the emotion. This time she will went directly to the chats and the what's called like the black people. I don't know how's that called, like Tyler or what Trevor. Yeah, and she's gonna get fucked by them. She's gonna be get bounced by them so well. So just because you got a positive reaction doesn't mean that you are in the right environment. Just because no, let me reframe that. Just because I don't know. I'm gonna go off the topic, but basically, just because my auntie not only couldn't comprehend what I was telling her, but making me feel bad because I'm telling her something that's gonna actually help her, but telling me her traumas and what she's been through. Although I can help her how she can get through those traumas, but just making her realize that she can change, that makes her adds friction to her life because she don't want to deal with her problems, which why she is where she is right now in her life. Doesn't mean that I'm a person who's unintelligent or doesn't know how to co-work with people. Because I strongly believe, I will find no issue communicating with people that I'm actually going to work with. Because I know the people who are actually to work with are people who doesn't only address who only fix the addressing symptoms, but fix the root problem. And because you may, in this channel, which is my childhood channel, on my professional channel, which is where I'm talking about pornography specifically, you go and see me there or here. I know that you are only not seeing me as someone who knows, but someone who's creditable because he did something that I still struggle with, and he invested time that I don't have time anymore because I was focusing on something else that is not negatively that is not negative necessarily, and I can co-work with him so he can help me as well. Because I know who I'm going to work with. I know the type of person I want to work with. I want to work with a person who is intellectual in some extent, or at least knows that just getting the medicament doesn't fix the drastic problem, and the drastic problem will still be there although you don't feel it. If we cut the neurons in your hand and we put your hand and you were sleeping and we put your hand in the fire, sure you will not feel pain from the fire, but when you're gonna wake up, you're gonna find all of your hand gone. So you didn't get hurt directly or consciously, but yeah, congratulations, you lost your hand. So what are you gonna do now? So that was a. I'm not either ungrateful for. I'm not sad or timid because of my bad experiences of childhood. Because I strongly believe this is where I'm gonna spit some shit that Hamza really did good for me, or not only for me, but also for other fatherless people as well. Is when you are young and you born without a masculinity figure, you are born as a feminine boy. But it is a good thing because a feminine boy is more likely to listen to someone who's older than him or someone who sees as an authority figure, especially if he's consciously enough to know which person he needs to listen and which person he needs not. And that thing, which is me being fatherless and with only child, that makes me resonate with Hamza so much. Because if I was with a dad, I had a dad or I had a brother, I'm more likely to cultivate from my brother who got influenced by my dad or my dad with negative things. Not negative things like he's smoking this stuff. Although my dad does that, that's why they got divorced. But I wouldn't be able to change my beliefs each time. And it will be so hard for me to change my beliefs because from when we were young, I believe that I was the man who knows everything. Like, sure, that was going to prevent me from many painful moments, like getting beaten up or not having my dad to, or having my dad to defend me, not my mom, so kids don't mock her. Because I've been really through like bad shit. Like, I know what it means to seeing your mom mock it up, but you cannot help her because you're afraid of those kids, which is why you bring your mom to there so she can defend you. And you're feeling shameful and guilty because your mom got mocked up and you don't. It's like your wife got slapped in her ass. Your mom getting mocked by your little friends who beated your ass up and now they're mocking your mom. And you just wanna feeling shame and guilt and you don't wanna hang out, you don't wanna pleasure up yourself. Like imagine a 5 year old, you're 5 years old that don't want to pleasure up himself and feeling guilty and shame and cannot help and he doesn't know which fault is that. Is it yours or is it your or is it your absent father or your mom? Why she listened to you? And number yourself through porn since a really age, young age, just to go through that pain, just to go through that shame that you are a weak person, that you are powerless. I wasn't a kind kid. In fact, I was a afraid kid that the only way he could cope with his uncertainty on whether people gonna hurt him or not is by being kind and generous to everybody. Unfortunately, that made more people to hurt me more and to take advantage of me. But I don't blame them at the same time. They were kids, and most importantly, when they were hurting me, it was just a way to cope. Because not only like I'm not saying that having a father all the time means that you have someone who's gonna give you confidence so you can face the world. But most of people like by regard of my learnings, kids who were bullying me when I was young, they were feeling inferior because their dad was all the time beating them up and they couldn't help to cope. They weren't porn addict like me, so they just beated me up so they can feel good by making me feel bad about myself. And like, and I'm grateful. I believe that there were those things weren't traumas. They weren't those things, but they were the things that were going to shape me to the person who I am right now. I believe that those unpleasant feelings and the unpleasant experiences, they were a temporary coaches, and they fulfilled their purpose once I reflect on myself and learn and evolve through books and improving myself by like-minded people. Because really, I'm telling you, you see, all the friends that you lose, all those people, like maybe your relationship with your mom is getting drained, or your girlfriend, or your friends. I had a masculine friend who gave me, like, besides Hamza, he gave me that masculinity. Like, Hamza gave me knowledge and a little bit of masculinity, but that guy gave me big masculinity and a little bit of knowledge. So it is everything complements each other. So there is nothing perfect. There is no perfectionism. There is no perfection. There is complementary, like complementation. Life is complementary in a complex, but at the same time, it is complementary in a fucking weird way that just surpasses our level of consciousness. So Oh, if we fucking brought a fucking big piece of paper that explains the world, we're still not gonna comprehend this. Because there is a creator in which he wrote this thing. Like all the time subconsciously I just whenever I talk about something, I just get into this point where about the creator and this stuff. Like it's so fucking mind blowing, right? I got really I drift out of those subjects why I made that video that just I forget what I was talking about, but really cultivating your faith in God is not by reading religious books. Rather, it's by cultivating yourself so you can be the type of person who understand books. Now, let me ask you a question if you disagree with me. Who's the person who's more likely to understand Quran or to understand Bible after not reading all the book, but just after reading one page? Who's more likely to understand that verse? Is it someone who's a fucking comic guy who comes in his wall all the time, but he grows a shitty beard. So people, when he gonna see him, he gonna say like, oh, although he's 15, he gets a fucked up mustache, but he reads Quran and he's wearing like the traditional Arab thing. But he never read books or all what he does is just come in the wall and just fucking cultivate his small like big ass mustache. Do you think that he will understand the verse in the Quran comparing to someone who read a book, who read many books, and then once he went to read that verse of Quran? Because let me tell you something. You see, Quran is not just a mere of a verse or what or a line or a pickup line. It is more than that. It is something that is it is a big wide thing that is compromised in small sentence. And if you're not the type of person who's knowledgeable, who's intellectual from others people's experiences and how people define life. Because you can tell me that, oh, I won't read that psycho-cybernetics because who made this is gay, or he's black, or he's Jewish, or he has Down syndrome. But that doesn't fucking mean that you're better than him because he fucking wrote something that many people bought, but you have nothing to write about. Like, what you gonna write about? You're fucking what? You're gonna make a course on how to feel more pleasure when masturbating, and you're gonna show them like the technique of edging technique, so you can feel the extreme pleasure. Yeah, like sure, like I can agree with you with that they don't believe in God or they are gay and this stuff. And I can agree with you at the same time that they are not perfect. But just that argument, it doesn't mean that they are better than you. Especially if there are people who are knowledgeable. If you read their knowledge and then go to your Quran and read it, you understand it more before you read that book. So actually, it's like gym. If you went to the gym first day and you benched 100, like you cannot bench 100. You can only start off like progressively overloading. And that's what it really is. You're cultivating your mind. You want to hit that exponential, like you want to go until you hit that point, until you see yourself like going up, then you can read Quran because you are the type of person who can understand this Quran. Because when you're going to start reading the Quran, the exponential going to boom, boom, like your understanding of things going to higher up, and thus your understanding of the Quran and who God is gonna rise up as well. Because there are some people who whenever time you give them something spiritual or something that is like the frequencies and how they can heal things and this stuff, they're gonna tell you that you're someone who doesn't disobey God or doesn't believe in God, or you're someone who's kafir. But no. Oh man, I'm so late. I need to go shit, man. I cannot continue this. Like I'm gonna talk another 1 hour. So let's talk to it another day and continue our discussion. Like literally, I wish someone can invite me into a podcast. I'm gonna just like fucking talk all the time. See you.